Welcome to America's hottest talk line. Guys, hot ladies are waiting to talk to you.
Vinegar syndrome. Guys.
There, she wrote my name like on the.
She says Yeehaw and Greg.
Yeah, like she's straddling me, and then XOXO. Yes. So.
Greg's got a girlfriend.
Yeah, it's got the Mighty Ducks guy. Got that guy.
No. Yes, but no. He's not the Mighty Ducks guy. It's Emilio Estevez, one of the Brat Pack. Jesus Christ, he was a Brat Pack before he was the Mighty Ducks is the end of his career. Jesus Christ. Get off my plane. I think Sony paid you a bunch of money to talk about all their steelbooks tonight.
This is a movie I didn't think I'd like as much as I did. I know it was like really popular because it like won some Oscars and whatever, but
Debbie does Dallas.
They actually produced crew jackets. Like the movie never went into production.
And then everybody asks about, what's it like being a part of the movie that bombed, or are we still talking about that? I said, look, I'd much rather be the leader of a squad in a movie than be the lead of a movie in the summer of '87 that no one remembers what it was.
Is anyone even there still? I don't even know.
Yeah, we're just listening.
Okay.
I was like, no one's saying it. Like,
really
is it a story?
Just for instance, like, I mean, they've got all sorts of stuff. You can never have enough physical media.
Well, hello, fellow followers, and welcome back to the round of applause for everyone, and welcome back to the Physical Media Show here on FanZcene Vids. I'm glad to have you all with us tonight. I know we're a little late, and I apologize for that, but some stuff comes up sometimes.
We all know why he's late.
Hey, Pamela Henderson needed some love.
Were you up all night?
All night? No, but I do have some stuff I'm doing with that, so I just can't say.
I know I was kind of segueing, but I didn't know how much you could say.
Yeah. I do know.
I saw you posted a couple things, but yeah.
And Saturdays I'm starting a new thing at 9:30. We did last week. It's called Night Crawlers, presented by Up All Night. It'll be on my channel live. We're bringing on guests and stuff, and just talking stuff from like whatever comes up. It's different guests there, and matter of fact, I think as far as everything is set as of right now, we will have director actor Richard Gabai, who did some movies, and writer and new YouTuber of Delirium Magazine. He's a writer for Delirium Magazine, and he started his own YouTube channel. Jason Benet, who does articles for Delirium Magazine for Full Moon. So they'll be joining us this Saturday with Hollowfield, who is making the comic, Rhonda Shear's Up All Night comic, and I will be in the next issue of the comic book. So there's what I have for that. I think that's about as much as I can tell you at the moment. Hollowfield would let me know if I can say any more, because he's my go between and everything. So there you guys have that. So yeah. But
like spy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, spy stuff. Yeah. Last Saturday,
really.
Yeah, not really, but last Saturday we had on Rhonda Shear's manager. We had on her name's Angela Phoenix. She's an actress, and she's going to be on a new rebooted Up All Night. And we had Lenora from Midnight Rental, who is a horror movie host herself here on YouTube. So we had.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of that. I saw you post. I didn't get a chance to watch it all, but I thought, oh, that looks fun.
Yeah. So he says, whatever you want, let it rip. Well, just so you know, there is going to be a reboot of Up All Night. So I may be involved in that reboot. So just so you know about that.
No way.
Yeah. So just look. Yep. So me and Hollowfield there, and Angela Phoenix and Rhonda Shear, and we're going to be involved in
Congratulations, man.
Yes. So thank you. But with all that being said, let's say hi to the chat real quick. We have Random Brad. Thank you for hanging with us tonight, Random Brad. Hail
know
to
that
you,
guy.
Brian Barth. Glad to have you here.
I know those guys.
Yeah. Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid is. Oh, yeah, I did see that. Pat
Oh,
Garrett and
yes,
Billy
that was
Kid
one of
movie
the
was up for-
announcements. Yes.
Yes. Yes, sadly, it looks like Tarantino's backing out of the movie critic. Maybe something else hit him. I don't know. Maybe he had a different
Yeah,
idea.
I saw that news. It was kind of. I and Bryant and I actually talked about this a little bit. I think he might turn around and still release it as a book because I think he had a couple drafts done. And he even talked about doing some writing, just regular writing, and not doing movies, but just books for a while after he retired. So he just it made it, at least the interview made it sound like he wanted to do something a little different for his final movie. But I wouldn't think he's going to hide this or anything. I bet you he'll release it.
Yes,
but that's just my take.
I would believe that. I mean, he did put out Once Upon a Time in Hollywood on a book, and I think maybe
exactly.
Yeah, and from what I understood, that Brad Pitt was actually supposed to be Cliff Booth again or something. What was his name? Yeah, I think he was supposed to be in the movie critic as that character.
That was the rumor, yeah.
So maybe he's just going to turn it into.
Or maybe it wasn't even a rumor. Maybe it was something Tarantino said that I missed, but I'd heard it from I think Bryant himself and somebody else. I think I'd heard before too.
Yeah.
But no, we got that, and then Blown Away was the other one we got from Kino. That's finally coming to 4K. At least we got the info on that one. I think we talked about it before. Back to the Future is getting re-released again.
Right.
And those dirty bastards.
With an extra disc.
Well, the disc I think is the same one, but what they did is it's kind of like I'm of two minds on this one. I want to go, good for you, Universal. You listen to the fans. But I also want to say, damn you, Universal, because now I want to buy them, and it's probably just the covers that are different, because I'm pretty sure that's the same bonus disc that's in the stupid booklet version that I have. That's what I hate, is when they put them into books. I mean, we've discussed that before.
Yeah, I know. These will have each of their individual cases with their own artwork. Yeah.
So I don't think they're actually getting any new special features that I've heard of. I think it's the same exact set, just re-released in the new form. So at least they listen to their customers.
Yeah.
Would be nice if you offered us an exchange program on that one, Universal, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Is where you're like, well, if you bought this, you can exchange them for this. Right. But hell to you, Hollowfield as well, and Tim Hayes, glad to have you with us, and Cowabunga Dude, glad to have you with us. Hell to you, and howdy, Ace Hanlon. I've heard the new Fallout show is good, but I don't know nothing about it, so I'm just not really into it. Yeah, I haven't.
Yeah, same here.
So, but I heard it's good things. And Scott Hughes, welcome to you. And then, of course, the new emoji. I know you can't see it right here, but in the chat, you can see the new emoji for the channel members. What's up, Cool Gamer? Glad to have you with us. And Style Section, glad to have you here as always. And how do you, Doba Fett? And Tyrell72, glad to have you here. Corley and Rogue, hello, my friend. Let's see who else we have. Heather Preston. Ho, I think she means to say hi. So Heidi ho to you, good neighbor.
I know I'm a hoe, so
yeah. No, so yes, we can't afford Tom.
You could trust me.
Actually, Tom, we might have something for you. So
I would very much be affordable. Trust me.
So
I work for very cheap. Ask Greg.
Mm-hmm.
Cookies. I can be bought with cookies. I can even be lured in with turtles. Sometimes they've been known to lure me in.
By extension, pizza, I assume.
Turtles and pizza are synonymous. Yes.
Yes.
As well as ninjas, of course.
We may have something for you to do, Tom. We may have something for you to do.
I'll do whatever Rhonda asks.
Yes.
Anything.
We have to see where something lands, and we may have something for you to do, Tom. And just so you know, might involve voiceover. Like you want to do.
I'm very glad to help with anything I can, of course.
Yes. We'll get to you on that.
Awesome. Glad to hear it.
Yes, we just have to wait and see how everything, because Rhonda is very busy right now. But they're trying to get the show together, and film a pilot. Yeah. But Ozlak says, "Yo, Tom, are the Indiana Jones 4Ks worth getting?"
Kind of, yeah. I mean, they're not horrible. They do have some issues. That damned idealistic Crusader. Did I saying his name right?
Yeah, the damn fool.
Yeah, I know him by his real name a little bit more. Actually, that's the weird thing. And I've been trying to get back and hold of him again too, to try and talk to him in some way, shape, or form. Maybe get him on this show or some other stream. But he has gone through them pretty much with a fine tooth comb and told us what's the good, the bad, the ugly is about him. Now I don't think these were nearly as bad as what American Graffiti and Star Wars had turned out to be, from my memory. I have not watched them in 2 years since they came out. And I reviewed them on the show. I remember they looked pretty good, but I did not know at the time that there had been a few alterations made to them, I believe. But yeah, I mean, nothing like that would stand out like the Star Wars Special Edition stuff. But I mean, if you don't have them on DVD or Blu-ray or whatever already, and you really want them in a very, you get them in 4K at least. I mean, it's a good quality version of it. I'm not going to say it's not. I mean, but if you're somebody who's a real pedantic person about certain things, it may bother you, but otherwise I think you'll be fine. I don't think there's too many problems with them.
Yeah,
in my memory.
Yeah, I remember you had pretty decent things to say about them, other than a few things when you brought them on. So
yeah, I don't remember at the time having any issues, but after listening to Idealistic Crusader or whatever, we had a few more things to point out that I didn't even know, wasn't even aware of or whatever. But it doesn't surprise me because George Lucas is well known to, was always mucking with his movies since day one. So
right, yeah, he always likes to do that stuff. But welcome Jose Morales and Anthony Draven. I think we got everybody in the chat. Thank you guys for being here in the chat with us. No, you're good. You're good. That's why we have the chat, right? They give us cool questions. But thank you everybody, and Tom and Rook. So we know we got the Back to the Futures. We got what was it we mentioned already?
We also have Risky Business. We have
Risky
Pat
Business.
Garrett, when we already announced.
Yes, Pat Garrett.
Black God, White Devil, Perfect Days, Farewell, My Concubine, and Les Samurai. I don't know how you say that.
I don't know that one.
That they're all Criterion ones, but Risky Business is probably the biggest one of the bunch there, and besides Pat Garrett and Concubine. But yeah, and then what else we had here? We had Taxi Drivers finally getting its own release outside of the Columbia box set, which I really like the steel.
I know. Did you see it? I thought I saw that earlier.
It would be like the fourth or third version of I have already, but I'm like, I don't even watch the movie all that much. It's not one of my favorites of Scorsese's even. But it's a cool ass poster, and I want it. But I think that's the same poster they use for the Blu-ray I have, so I might just go, unless I find it for like half price or something. Can't justify just buying it for a steelbook, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
Maybe.
maybe for those who don't have the Columbia box set, though, now you can get it when it comes out.
That's a big deal for a lot of people, because this is one that a lot of people have wanted out of the box set. So
a great double feature. You could almost
triple. Amazing, because I remember talking about it on here. I think.
Yeah, you did. I think you said it looked great and everything with it and all that. Yeah, you could double feature that. I see a cat alert.
Baby.
At least it's not Rook's cat butt.
The tables have turned. Now it is your cat.
Mine just wants to be rocked to sleep. He's not like up in my face. Well, he does get up in my face.
Well, my cat will be on me, but will not like to be held. She does not like to be like picked up or something. Like it's so.
Don't
you got that. You can make your cat go to sleep. Mine will decide when it's time.
He's giving me that look like, why are you doing that? You're supposed to be paying attention to me.
You're
right
supposed
now.
to look at me. Eye contact.
Exactly. But a great double feature with Taxi Driver is you can do Taxi Driver and the horror movie Fade to Black. Great double feature, very similar. And if you wanted to, if you liked it, you could triple feature it with the Joker. That way you have the Taxi Driver, a horror movie, and then the Joker.
And King of Comedy, which is one of the few.
Yes, and King of Comedy.
One of the few, like I think a handful of Scorsese films that haven't made their way to 4K yet, but I would imagine will.
I messed that up once in the chat, somebody's chat, and they were like, "What's the Joker based off of?" I was like, "Oh yeah, it's based off of Taxi Driver and the Comedian." I meant to say king of comedy, but I said the comedian. So I don't know where that came from. But with all that being said, I hope you guys saw some. Should we mention Silent Night, Deadly Night 4K?
Yeah, there's a rumor at least Silent Night, Deadly Night 4K, and I think it's likely. Probably shout.
Yeah. Drop the fuck shout factory emojis. Yes. I've never been a huge fan of that, but if that I may buy the 4K and give it another watch because I haven't watched it in years.
I like the first one because it's cheesy, and the second one's even cheesier, but it's just basically rewatching most of the first movie all over again.
Yes. Well, I've only seen the second one with Justin Proper, and that was what was funny about it. He's like, you don't need to see the first one.
You're missing a whole lot, really.
It's like they're showing most of the movie there.
It's basically like a really just truncated version of the first movie with added stuff at the end.
I think most people just remember Garbage Day for the second one. As a matter of fact, that was released on this date. I don't know how many years ago, but I saw it earlier on my timeline because I follow horror stuff. So I can't remember how many years. And yes,
weird time of the year to be releasing a
right.
They wanted it out for video. That's why. Yeah,
maybe. Yeah,
set
it, release it now, and then it comes out at Christmas time, so you can get it at Christmas time. That's smart, I guess.
Well, because the first movie was a huge hit on video.
Yeah. Yes, Maniac has gotten a Blu-ray treatment. It's actually got the 4K treatment. I think you brought it on, Tom. Didn't you? Yes. Speaking of which,
who put it out? Was it not Blue Underground, but it was.
It might be Blue Underground because he has what's his name? Oh, Bill Lustig owns a lot of that. He owns a lot of those movies. Yeah. But speaking of the Joe Spinell, he may come up later. So yeah. But with that being said, Rook, since you actually said you watched movies this week, so let's see.
A total of 3.
3 total movies this week. What do you have for your first pick of the night?
All right. Well, first of all, here's my finished pizza this time. Okay, I didn't grab 3
Let us see
pieces.
Behind you. Let's see behind you.
What's on your bed?
Else behind you?
What's on your bed, Rook?
You.
That is my cat's on my bed. Okay.
Oh, he's got a plate. He's got a plate.
That's a grilled cheese sandwich. Okay.
Still,
that's different. That's very different.
And he moved the pizza so he wouldn't be on his bed this time. He just put it right out there.
I only had 2 slices.
Kind of like a 5th date when the chick's like, you can come over, but it's just got to be a quickie this time.
Exactly. I saw Shoot 'Em Up from recommendation from Hank Ronson, or the wise guy on Twitter. Watch their stuff all the time. Fucking bonkers action movie. This is like 100% action movie with like 3 seconds of talking and just full on quips and ridiculousness. Have you guys seen this one?
No, I've not.
This is like right up your alley for something. He's got a carrot. And he doesn't have a gun with him, and he shoves a carrot into this guy's mouth and throat and kills him and says, "Eat your vegetables." Like that. There's lines like that.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Yeah,
there's lines like that throughout the whole thing. Paul Giamatti's in it. Clive Owen, Monica Bellucci. It's Michael Davis. Don't know what else he's done, but
here's my problem with Monica Bellucci. Not that I have a problem with her, because she's smoking hot and she does a lot of nude scenes, but she also played Jesus's mother in Passion of the Christ. So when I watch a movie now with her and she gets naked, I feel weird.
This is what's funny. There's a lot of sexuality in this and a little bit of boob, but she is fairly naked in it, so whatever.
No, I get that, but I've seen her other stuff.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah,
and she's weird to me now.
Honestly, she's probably the weakest link in this. Like, she's around, and her acting is. I'd rather have other ones be instead of her. Honestly, she does okay, I guess, but it could have done better. But still, it is just an action-packed, nonstop, constant shooting and killing. They're having a sex scene while they're having a shootout at the same time, and a baby crying in the bathtub that they're trying to protect. and it's just like, oh my god, well, what is this? Essentially, is this movie?
Paul
Giamatti is like a really smart guy, And Clive Owen's just kind of a random guy at a bus stop that like sees this pregnant woman running away from people chasing after her, trying to kill her. And he just sees like, oh, fuck, I got to go step into this now, like a vigilante or something. He goes in. Yes, he comes in armed with a carrot because he does not have a weapon on him, kills somebody with that. And the carrots are just his thing. You know, it improves your eyesight. Shit, it's his method. And, man, it's just insane. He's just a huge killer.
That's just shit your mom says to make you eat your carrots.
Yeah, pretty much. Paul Giamatti, you know, you're a wascally weapon, aren't you? He says that. It's just like, oh my god. He gets like 50 guys to try to kill him, and it's not working so good. And he's like, you know, is it that we're really bad or that he's that good? Like, there's stuff like that. It honestly, like, there's not much to describe about the movie. There's just a lot of crazy shit, a lot of funny, bizarre lines of dialogue. He says that, you know, he says this constantly. You want to know what I hate? And he's like, what? Yeah, I hate guys in luxury cars. Or they're like porcupines, except for the pricks that are on the inside or something. Just like, okay, like, bum. All right, stand-up joke achieved, I suppose. I don't know, man. It is. If you haven't seen it, I kind of recommend it on how crazy it is as a movie. Even of what I've described to you so far, that's like just a small percentage of what is just the actual fuck going on in the movie. It was over pretty quick for me. I was like, wow, that's it. All right, good. If it drug out,
I think
way
it's
too
only
long.
like 80 minutes long. It's not.
Yeah,
very long
it was a really short watch.
I think there's a comics sequel coming up because I've been. I talked to the guy I think that's working on it before, but yeah.
I got you. Yeah, I mean, that's all I pretty much got to say about it. I recommend it. I can't say it's like good, but for an action movie that, like, if somebody's like, I don't want to hear what the plot is, I don't give a shit, I just want to see some cool gun scenes, some funny quips and lines, and some characters, some actors that do good at hamming it up with it, let it be. All right, that's the movie. Not my typical flavor, but I did enjoy it. I don't know if I'll ever watch it again, but I do recommend a watch.
I've always heard good things about it. I just don't know why I've never gotten to it. I've always heard it was a fun movie. So
exactly.
Yeah.
One that fits
Yes.
quite well.
That's right. In the chat, they said it. His name, Michael. Yes.
Yes.
It's called Blast 'Em Up. I'm looking at it right now in my email. Yep.
Oh, it's called Blast 'Em Up, really? For the comic book sequel?
Yep.
Nice. That's cool. So, and if you want to hear about it, looks like RBA did a stream with it with him about the movie last year. So there you go.
Cool.
Yep.
Want to hear more about it?
Guns don't kill people, but they sure do help. They sure do help.
Right.
Maybe I'll have to get to that because I've always heard it. I've always heard it was a fun movie.
This just seems like I would go. This is a FanZcene movie. I'm sure. Like that's this type of movie. So there you go. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, at least you have it. There you go. I can't believe it. We even had this was funny. Where was it? If I could find it again. Cowbunga dude was like, what obscure dog movie did you watch this week?
Hey, that's for next week, maybe. Okay. You need to give a rest on the obscure dog movies, all right? All right. Well,
good first pick there, Rook. I mean, and you actually had the crowd out there liking the movie. So
there we go. Sweet.
There you go.
I will disappoint you next time.
Yeah, more than likely. All right, Tom, are you ready for your first pick of the night?
Oh, sure.
I mean, if you're not, I can go.
No, I'm good. I had some.
Yeah, I didn't mean this.
Crunch a munch here.
Yeah.
Okay. This is my first Fuck You Shout Factory purchase. For those who don't know, I gave Shout Factory some bad reviews. And they blocked me from their website. So I can't order anything from their website anymore. But I can order shit from anywhere else, you know. I just got to find another way to get exclusives. But so this is my first Fuck You Shout Factory purchase from, I believe, Amazon. I got this through. It's Darkman on 4K in the Steelbook edition that is, I believe, sold out now, if you said correctly, Greg.
Yeah, they had it on their going out of print set.
Yeah, that's right. You did say that. Because also I remember, that's why I bought this a while back and I'm pissed off about it, but whatever. It's still even in plastic, see?
It's
I
a
had
shout
the
factory
old
for you.
Universal Blu-ray too. I should have grabbed that one while I was at it.
Yeah.
But no, it looks pretty good. I mean, it has all the same special features as this one did. I'm not going to praise much of the disc because of fuck Shout Factory. But no, the movie's fun. It's an old school kind of comic book movie. It kind of reminds me that, yeah, there was a time when comic book movies were like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because this is a very stylized Sam Raimi kind of movie.
Mhm.
You know, just take the fucking rabbit.
Yeah. Yeah, the pink rabbit, or was it a pink rabbit or pink elephant?
Or is it,
Pink
yeah,
rabbit.
take the pink elephant. Or
Yeah,
take the
pink elephant.
Elephant, yeah, sorry.
I
The
want
rabbit's,
pink elephant.
the rabbit's Conair. I always get those two.
Oh, yeah,
But,
yeah. Put the bunny.
And
Yeah.
another movie where all of a sudden, again, I'm reminded that What's-Her-Face from Fargo was in a lot of movies, and I forgot. Frances McDermott. And,
Oh, yeah.
no, it's a pretty good movie. It's a fun flick. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Fuck Shout Factory, but hey.
Yeah. What I always find it funny is, you know, the scene when he gets blown up and he comes flying out of the window.
Yeah.
In the movie. Well, there's an episode of Home Improvement where they use that scene where Tim is like at his gas station and it explodes and he comes flying out, and it's that scene from Darkman. And that's always I'm like, why are they using? How'd they get a hold of a scene from Darkman for this? Because when I saw it, I was like, what the hell? I know that scene because I watched Darkman. So that was always weird to me. But I guess it's still available. Why'd they have it on their OOP sale then if it's not out of fucking Shout Factory? Weird. Because I did go through their sale. I went through the sale and looked through all the titles to see if there's something I wanted to pick up, and that was
Shout Factory.
Yeah, that was on it. And yes, Bruce Campbell is the real face of Darkman.
I saw that at the end. I remember like, oh yeah, duh.
Yeah, which is funny. What's his name? The guy that played the Mummy plays Darkman in the sequels.
Brendan Fraser or
no, the guy that played the Mummy.
The Mummy himself.
Oh, that played the Mummy
himself.
yeah. The played
Arnold Vosloo, I believe his name is. He plays
I
Darkman.
barely remember the sequels because I remember them being trash.
Too. Yeah.
But now, maybe you guys can help me with this because it's been a while since I watched this. And I swear, maybe it's because the original version I saw for years was the TV cut. I'm wondering if there's like extra stuff that was added into that. Because I swear they bring up the fact that all they found of him was the ear. And they buried the ear or whatever. For some reason, I remember him constantly like having to do something to figure out how to put his ear back on. But they don't have that in the regular movie.
Yeah,
like
I think
to create an ear. I for some reason swear that was a big.
Yeah, wasn't it like it always sliding off his side of his head or something, and
something like that? I don't remember exactly, but it's been years since I watched it. But somebody else can remember in the chat.
That sounds familiar about him messing with his ear.
Because yeah, in this version they don't even really have that in there, so I'm like, okay. But this is like, yeah, maybe I just haven't watched it in a while, but I don't see any. Is there deleted scenes? Maybe I'll have to check out the deleted scenes. If not, I don't see any listed here. But I don't know. Maybe I'm totally fucking just don't even remember. But
well, I now that you bring it up, I do remember something about his ears in the movie.
Yeah, and there's the other thing too is like Jenny Agutter's in it, but she's hardly in the movie now, and I'm like, I swear she was in this more than this.
Makes you think. I wonder if there's a TV cut somewhere out there that maybe somebody has and that we can get a hold of, or that somebody's put up somewhere, or maybe we could see. Because as we know, they put different stuff in the TV cuts and scenes that were excluded to elongate the movie for television and stuff. So it's weird. It's weird. But so I would assume the transfer looks great, and I don't want to talk too much about it, but I assume it looks great. I'm a fan of Sam Raimi, so I always loved his style, and this was his first attempt as a superhero, and you can kind of see some, like in Spider-Man, you can kind of see some of the template in Darkman for Spider-Man a little bit, how he processed it.
Yeah, but this is really satire. This is like if
yes,
you can definitely tell whoever wrote this, or Sam Raimi himself, must have woke up every morning and watched Batman and RoboCop and then went to the set.
Say, I'm going to make a RoboCop Batman movie.
And maybe Dick Tracy. I don't remember if Dick Tracy was out yet, but yeah, that's what he would probably do every morning. You swear. Maybe it is a Mandela effect, dude. I could be right, or I mean, it could be wrong. And
I don't know, man. Like I told you,
it up in my head. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I told you my theory on some of the movies with the Mandela effect that I have. My theory is I believe that some of us grew up on the TV cuts before seeing the theatrical cuts. So that's why we remember certain movies differently. And that's why we have the Mandela effect on some movies. And in some cases, I can't explain it because some people remember stuff I don't remember that. But I think for the most part, a lot of those with movies is like we grew up watching the TV cut here and there, and then like we know now they added in more scenes and everything like I mentioned, and they filmed, like you said, like they filmed different scenes for like less cuss words. Instead of dubbing over, sometimes they'll have a scene where they filmed where it wasn't a cuss word and they put it in the movie instead. So I really feel like that's where a lot of the Mandela effect comes with movies. But I do, now that you bring up his ear, I do remember his ear. I don't remember Ginny Agooter actually at all because it's been so many years since I've seen it, but I do remember something about his ear.
She's only in like one scene in the movie now, or at least that's what she's in. And I'm like, I swear I watched it a couple years back, but maybe I haven't.
Was she in the beginning of the movie before he blows himself up?
I don't think so. I think she's after. I think she's the doctor in the hospital, and that's it.
Yeah.
But I swear, like there was something with her more in the version in my head with the ear bit. I think she was in there more, and that was the other thing. But I could have been wrong. So yeah.
Yeah. It's weird. Now maybe you could help Hollowfield with this because Hollowfield says he remembers the eyes opening at the end of Friday the 13th. Mrs. Voorhees? I think, yeah, Mrs. Voorhees' eyes at the end of the first movie.
Is it at the end of the first one? I thought that was at the end of the second one.
See, I remember that too, but I always get it confused whether it was like the eyes opened on the head at the end of the second movie or the first movie. So
when it's in the refrigerator.
Yeah. Or was it on a table?
Or not in the refrigerator, on the table. I mean, yeah, sorry.
On the table, yeah, on table.
It starts in the refrigerator.
Yes, too. He says yes too. Yeah, yeah. Always, I think I kind of remember that. I don't know.
Does it not happen? Because I swore it does too. Yeah.
Yeah, he was talking to me about it the other day. He said he doesn't remember on his DVD. It doesn't have it.
And 2 is not my favorite one, so I've only watched it maybe a few more times than 5. I'll have to watch that again, dude. I'll have to check that out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I swear it does. Maybe it's in the beginning of 3. Then we're thinking about it, and maybe it's in our head. Maybe it's a Mandela thing, like you're saying. Maybe I'll have to check it out.
Weird movies, man. Yeah.
Because you're right. Because the beginning of 3 starts off with the ending of 2.
Mm-hmm.
Puts her head on the table. I'm pretty sure her eyes are open.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe
now it's driving me nuts.
So you said, because when we was talking last week on the Nightcrawler after the show, he was like, "It's not on my DVD," and he said, "I swear I remember it, but nobody else remembers it." And I'm like, maybe I don't know, vaguely. So I don't know. So there's something else to look forward to now if you can see if that is out there. But I do like Darkman. Rook, if you've never seen Darkman, I do suggest check it out, especially if you like Sam Raimi's work. Runner would tell you hand over fist that Sam Raimi is the best. I mean, we all know Runner's favorite directors. It's got to be Zack Snyder, Christopher Nolan, and Sam Raimi.
What an interesting matchup.
No, they're even closed at the end of the beginning of part 3. So yeah, no, holy shit, that's got to be a total Mandela effect thing, man.
It's got to be something. Yeah. But Brian Barr says, "Is Darkman a good film?"
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one. I think it's a good one.
Like I said, it's you can tell it's heavily influenced by Batman and RoboCop big time.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, the central plot of the movie is this guy. He's I believe he's a scientist. He gets blown up.
Yeah, he works with skin, basically like skin grafting, but he actually is doing like full on how do you put it? Like he's got this chemical or something he's working on that can actually grow skin.
Yeah.
But he can't figure out why he can't keep it stable for more than 90 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And he just kind of, it boils down to, I guess, when it's in the sun, it just breaks it down or whatever.
It kind of starts melting and stuff.
Yeah.
So he gets blown up and he has to create all these faces and stuff for himself in his face. And it's sort of a superhero movie. It is a superhero movie. It's a dark superhero movie. So it's very similar in that vein. What's funny is you could kind of connect Darkman to Face Off because in Face Off they have that where they can rebuild, like when the your guy's ear gets shut off and they fix it and then they do the faces. So you kind of say like,
Unless
maybe.
I'm mixing it up with that could be like in my
No,
brain.
I think you could combine them because I know that is what happens in Darkman, and then you could say maybe somebody got a hold of his technology and used it on Face Off and to help create that.
Don't take his face off.
Don't take his face off. It's like looking into mirror, but not. I have to watch that. I have to get that 4K and watch that. But
I haven't watched it yet though.
Yeah, I know I haven't got to it yet either. All right. Well, any final words on Darkman before we move on?
No, it was mostly enjoyable. Looked good. Sounded good. Fuck Shout Factory.
All right, cool. Speaking of like Shout Factory,
Yes, it's a great score, but I swear there's like pieces that feel like they're just lifted right out of Batman.
Yeah, with Danny Elfman.
Yeah, like maybe they're not, but whatever.
It does, now that you mention it, it does kind of sound a little Batman. I never really thought about it till just now, till you mentioned it was a cross between Batman and RoboCop in the sound. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Like there's some stings that sound like they're right out of Batman. Like
right.
I'm like, I swear that's in Batman. Like that same exact sting. Like, just like when he punches somebody, it's like dun 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 dun.
Yeah,
just that typical Burton thing, and then you could,
yeah.
All the little drums and shit he's got going on. They all sound the same anyway, but yeah.
Yeah. Crazy. All right. Well, Larry Drake was Mo. Raimi's brother was Larry. The bald dude, yeah, Curly. Interesting. All right. Well, hey Mo. I love that Bruce Campbell calls himself Shemp Malone. He calls himself Shemp. Oh, all right. Well, I guess we'll do my first F Shout Factory pick of the night. I have Star Crash. Roger Corman Crash. Star Crash. Yes. I got it with the Roger Corman sale that they had.
Shit, I don't know if I have that one or not.
Yes, and this is what's her name? Oh my gosh, I just forgot her name, and I know her name. Carolyn Monroe. This is Carolyn Monroe, who plays Stella Starr, the heroine of the movie. And speaking of, like I said, you might hear Joe Spinell. Joe Spinell plays the bad guy in this movie, and he has a habit of terrorizing Carolyn Monroe because he terrorized her, I believe, in Maniac. I think she is in the movie Maniac, and she's also in the movie that he did where it's sometimes called Maniac 2, but it's not. I think it's called The Last Horror Picture Show or something like that, where where Joe Spinell plays an obsessed fan with Carolyn Monroe. Like, she plays the actress and he's obsessed with her, and it's basically like sort of Maniac-esque. But yes, anyways, he's the bad guy. David Hasselhoff is in this movie. Now, some people say that this movie is a Star Wars cash-in movie, but if you believe the director and the writers, this was actually written and thought of before Star Wars, and that Star Wars copied them. So it just all depends on who you believe. It did come out in 1978. As we all know, Star Wars came out in 1977, but this was made in Rome. So, but the plot of this story is essentially these two smugglers, Stella Starr and her clearly platonic gay friend, who is an alien with a telepath who is superhuman and can see into the future, get arrested and then thrown in jail for pretty much forever by the Emperor, who is played by Christopher Plummer. And but then he releases them, and he hires both of them to go track down his son and find this planet that's got this massive weapon on it. Okay, so that's the story. And then they go, and it's a very weird blend of feels like a 60s sci-fi movie made in the 70s trying to be Star Wars. I mean, even the movie opens up with the giant ship coming across screen that looks just like Princess Leia's starship in the first Star Wars movie. There is a lightsaber in this, and there's this it's insane. It's an insane, cheesy, over the top sci-fi movie. It looks pretty good on this Blu-ray. I do recommend it if you've never seen it. I do recommend it because it's a pretty fun movie. It's weird, it's trippy. It's so stupid because like her friend, her guy that's with her, she's like he tells her that he can see into the future, and she goes, "You can see into the future," and he's like, "But I can't tell you what's going to happen because, as you know, you will try to change things, and it's against the law to tell you that what's going to happen to the future." So like you can't tell him what's going to happen. You know exactly what's going to happen, where the guy's at, and everything, but you can't tell her. You can't even nudge her in the right direction. You just keep letting her go on these like thing because it feels sort of like the Odyssey as well because they hit 3 different planets and like one planet's with Planet of the Amazons and a giant robot's almost like a Cyclops. Then they hit a second planet that's got like it's matter of fact. Speaking of something that Star Wars may have ripped off of them, the second planet they go to is an all ice planet. There and that this was before Star Wars Empire Strikes Back. So there's an all ice planet that they go to, and the second planet they go to. And then they kind of get froze there. And then the third planet they go to is the planet that they're looking for. And they know they have the final battle and everything. Yeah, you're not wrong, Tim Hayes. It is sort of like Sinbad in the Cellar in Outer Space, all that. It's like this weird, like, let's just make this sci-fi movie and let's combine a bunch of stuff. Like here's some 60s sci-fi, here's some Sinbad and some Odyssey, here's some Star Wars, you know? So, but there you go. This looks pretty good. This, is a it's an anamorphic widescreen transfer. I could have sworn it was a 2K, but it's anamorphic widescreen transfer. It doesn't look bad. It's got some good special features. It comes with a little booklet on the inside here talking about the movie. So there you guys have it. There's my first pick of the night, Star Crash.
Nice.
See it if you dare.
Interesting. What year did you say it was?
This came out in 78, but it was actually filmed in 77 in Rome.
Ah,
yeah.
Romans finally made something good, eh?
Well, no, it's not made by Romans. It's just
I know. Just like
yeah. But there you have it. There's my first pick of the night. So, what do you got for us, Rook? What's your next pick?
Not bad, not bad. I have got one that I'm sure you guys haven't seen yet. I don't remember if you guys said you've seen it or not. The original Mighty Morphin Power Ranger movie. You guys see that or not?
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen it before.
Well, I did it on rewatch here. So, you know, I grew up with Power Rangers and stuff. Saw it when I was a kid as well. Rewatched this. So there's a lot of things of it that are cringe. That goes without saying, of course. It's Power Rangers. It's what's going to happen. But for the movie, this was their first time making a movie. This is like after season 2 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers in terms of continuity, if that's what people are paying attention to. The music in this is really good. The soundtrack, I think they picked was pretty good for Power Rangers. They made a little tweak to their costumes. In the normal show, they have like the regular clothes that they wear for the costumes, but they tried to make these ones look a little bit more like armor, and I think that was a good choice instead of doing like a CG one or like, you know, this is like this is, you know, quite a while before Iron Man and stuff was able to be on screen. So
you know how they did the original Power Rangers, right? The TV show.
Yeah.
Right. It was not actually, they were only in the costumes for not very much because most of the footage in the original show.
Yeah, because they used footage. Well, yeah, but they still had costumes that they wore.
Yeah, they still have costumes. But
and the more they filmed, well, that's for season 1 for the most part. They still used a lot of footage throughout all their seasons, of course. But for Mighty Morphin specifically, they used their costumes more and more for Mighty Morphin season 2 and 3. Because they had to use more footage. They were convinced that if they changed the costumes, that the kids would not understand or something. Because in Sentai, they have a new team after every season and stuff. Mm-hmm. But they kept it with this going, and that's why the continuity is very different with the American Power Rangers compared to the Japanese Sentai, essentially. But regardless, so this movie, they're trying to have a villain, Ivan Ooze. You ooze, you lose, buddy. They have him come out. The guy who plays him is hilarious, hams it up nice and neat. He's like, woo-wee, where's my autograph book? Oh, Power Rangers, oh boy. They have Rita and Lord Zed. They release him. They always look for monsters to try to beat the Rangers because they're all pesky and keep on winning and stuff. So they release Ivan Ooze, who's been trapped for 6,000 years, which so continuity is always very funky with Power Rangers because sometimes they do pretty good and other times they bonk it big time. Rita, if you know, one of the first lines of the original pilot was, after 10,000 years, I'm free. Time to conquer Earth. And then it's like, with this, it's like, Ivan Ooze is from 6,000 years ago. And it's like, well, wait, so what was going on in the... Okay, whatever. They were aware of him somehow. I don't know. Whatever. They're aware of him. But he has little boogery goo monsters that they sixed on the Rangers, and they have a little fight scene with that. They have good music playing during that, and a lot of whippy sound effects for some reason, like way more than in the show, which I thought was kind of funny but distracting a little bit. And then they morph. They have like little things they try to do for toys that I don't remember being in the show ever. They're like, activate something scanner, something grappling hook thing, and a whip. I'm like, what the fuck are these? Like,
So it's a movie. They had to change things.
A little bit, but maybe they had those weapons in season 2, but I don't remember. But anyway, Ooze goes into the command center and takes out Zordon, and Alpha tries to karate chop him, but fails, doesn't work. Nope. He references, he's like, it's boring being trapped for 6,000 years. I missed the Black Plague, the Spanish Inquisition, the Brady Bunch reunion. And it's like, but did you see the Brady Bunch show? What are you talking about, bro? There's funny little jabs, like funny little things in the movie that just makes it like a little more fun to watch. There's a hot chick in it that I showed with you guys that's like Delphi. She's some random chick on some planet that has the ninja powers that they need, and she twirls these sticks, and that pisses off the little bird minions on there. And there's no point in like doing a full play-by-play of the movie, of course. The Zords, they used CGI on these this time.
Yeah.
In the show, they always have like either stop motion type of things. They use scale model sets. They have people in suits, whatever that they do. And honestly, I feel like the suits look less jarring than the CGI they used, because when it's really bad CGI, it stands out big time.
Well, it was early stages back in the day.
But yeah, but it's one of those things where maybe you should have just kept with the suit and it would have been just fine. You know, it would have been all right. But the scale, like whenever they do them in the show, they make the Megazords and the monsters they fight look huge compared to the buildings. The buildings go up to like their shin. But in this, the Zords and the monsters are like way smaller than like a skyscraper. Like, I don't know if they thought about the scaling wise with it, but you know, it's just a small thing there, essentially. There's a lot of quippy jokes in this, like other superhero movies might have, and superhero characters. And Kimberly, everybody's Pink Ranger. She's in danger, like the most out of all of them. Just for Tommy to be like, "I got you, Kimberly. I'll get you." I get annoyed when people put Tommy as like the best Ranger ever. He has a few really good episodes when he's first introduced into Power Rangers, and then he's just kind of an average character throughout the rest of his entire run, honestly. So but people like him. That's fine. Man, I could comment on so many things with this. I'm holding back so much to say.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
I know there's so much to say about it, honestly. But,
I haven't watched it in years. I actually have the Blu-ray by Buck Shout Factory.
Of course.
I have the Blu-ray, but I have not watched it in years.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say for it being the first attempt at a Power Ranger movie, it does all right. They do some things that are really baffling, like the minion. So you got Rita and Lord Zed, and then they have their Commander Goldar. They make him look a little bit different for the big screen, but he's pretty much the same voice actor and stuff. But then they have like a random pig henchman who was never in the show, and he's only in this and then nothing else ever. It's like, why'd you pick this guy? Like in the actual,
I think there's certain rights issues.
Maybe, but I mean, in the actual show, I'm actually confused. I need to still like do research on this at some point, or see if Script Doctor knows, because he did some stuff about this before. But so the actual Mighty Morphin Power Rangers season 3 went a very different direction than the movie. This movie was essentially a pilot for season 3, sort of, but I don't know how official it was supposed to be, but then just never was. They went very different where they have to find the ninja zords and the powers and all that stuff, but it's like they have a different person instead of a hot chick who's just in like a bra and a bikini or whatever. They have this guy called Ninja, and he's very eccentrically weird, and he tests the power and friendship and stuff. Ooh, and they had like Rita's brother Rito, who kind of becomes a goofball general, like that hangs out with Goldar in that show. Like that, I think that's who they probably would have had in this movie if they knew of Rito. They probably would have had him in there instead of the pig. But but yeah, it's a fun movie. It holds up as far as compared to the other Power Ranger movies. But I'll talk about Turbo next week. I didn't watch that one this week. The other movie I watched was the 2017 Power Ranger movie, so I'll talk about that when we go to that next. But as for this one, to sum up my thoughts on it, it is corny, it's cheesy, guys, of course, but I'd say it's watchable. You can watch it, you'd laugh. If there's things in it that, of course, I think would make it better. But the ham of what it is works for its time of the 90s. It represents a lot of 90s things in it. It's all right. And again, I like their costumes in it compared to how they have movie versions of costumes in the future. Yeah. It's all right. And Tom's just like, fuck me. But you have Ninja Turtles, man. This was my version of that stuff. So
I can tell you the one thing, because you kept talking about the girl. I do know is like originally, I don't know if you know her, but originally Mariska Hargitay from Law and Order. Yes, that Law and Order. She was the woman on the island or planet, whatever else they go to. She actually filmed scenes for the movie, and something happened and she left. And the chick that's in it is replaced her.
Hey,
and nobody's ever seen her footage before.
That'd be cool to see released. The movie, the disc that I have, came with the featurette that was very brief. I was really disappointed. I thought it was going to have like a lot more like in depth on the decisions that they made or why they did certain things or what compared to the show. If they thought this was going to be a season, like it was going to go into a season or something, but no, it just shows a couple of the actors talking about the movie and they had fun making it. So it's like, okay, whatever. But yeah, that was that. As far as the audience goes, I know that maybe a few of you at least had the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers in your line of sights. So I don't know. But I know that most of you, if you liked Power Rangers, liked Mighty Morphin, even though, in my opinion, this is my thing too. I think that Mighty Morphin is not even like top 10 of like Power Ranger stuff because they do better stories and characters in other seasons. But as far as the movie, this is the best Power Ranger movie, I would say.
Okay. Well, very in-depth, insightful analysis of the 1990s Power Rangers.
Yeah,
movie.
and that's me holding back because I didn't even say, I barely talked about it, honestly.
All right. But yeah, I haven't seen it in years. I do have, like I said, I do have the Blu-ray, but I haven't seen it in years. So I was right in the middle there. I remember watching the Ninja Turtles, and I was really a huge fan of the Ninja Turtles. And then I remember starting to like Mighty Morphin. I only watched Mighty Morphin, so I remember going and watching Mighty Morphin and Ninja Turtles together. And then, much like Tom, I hate it when they combined them and made the Ninja Turtles TV show where they added the
fifth chick. Yeah.
Well, just like the puppetry and everything was horrible.
Yeah. The costume designs on them were awful. And they crossed over into In Space on like episode 2 of Power Rangers in Space.
I didn't.
We're good guys too.
I was kind of starting to grow out of all that by that point. I was getting older. So.
You're like, no, this ain't for me. Well, that's funny because that's around when I was like getting more into it around that time. Because I was born in 1994, so like I wasn't like there was already a few seasons like that have been made by the time I started like watching and paying attention to it. Essentially, it's like around Power Rangers in Space is when I was noticing it, and then they're airing it all the time on ABC Family and stuff. Well, first it was on Fox Kids, I think, and then ABC Family. Yeah, I remember like Beyblade commercials and Donkey Kong and things like that.
Yeah. Weird times. Weird times. All right. Well, there you guys have it. Rook's second pick of the night. Tom, if you're ready, we'll go to you for your second pick of the night.
All right. Yes. This is one that and actually I bought it, destroyed the cover. I was kind of pissed. I should replace the cover here. I should have done it before tonight. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I got backups. But it's a movie I hadn't watched in a while, but it's a good one. It's one of Steven Spielberg's last really good ones. Came out in 2002, and it is Catch Me If You Can with Tom Hanks
nice.
and Leonardo DiCaprio. And it's based on the true story of Frank Abagnale, who pretended to be everything from a lawyer to a teacher to a doctor to a pilot to all kinds of other things. And yeah, it's a really interesting film. Like I said, one of the last good films Spielberg did. Probably one of the last really, really good John Williams scores.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if you guys have seen it or not, but it's also got just a ton of really hot up and coming actresses that like Amy Adams, Jennifer Garner. Gosh, I'm trying to remember half of them. Elizabeth Banks, I think, is even in it, and there's a few others. But yeah, Martin Sheen's in it as well. Got Christopher Walken in it. Good film.
Yeah.
Check it out if you haven't. One of the last good Spielberg movies.
I haven't seen that in years, but I do remember it being a really good movie as well. I'm surprised that doesn't have a 4K yet. I'm really, really surprised.
I thought there was rumors that it's coming.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, 2 years ago would have been the anniversary, which is sad, but yeah.
Yeah, you would have thought they would have did that. I remember it being a pretty solid movie and pretty big hit of a movie as well. Now this I did hear recently, so I was wondering if you know anything about it, that Frank's lied about doing all the stuff that he did in Catch Me If You Can.
Are you surprised he's a con man?
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. Cause like I heard that maybe he lied about that, and I was thinking, well, isn't that the whole point of who he was and what he did? So he's Catch Me If You Can and lied about all of it.
I mean, even if he did half of that, who cares? I mean, that's crazy. I mean, the parts that's true is that he is responsible for a lot of the security measures that we have today, for instance, and some other things without getting too deep into the movie, because I really do feel like you should check it out if you haven't, even if you're not a big fan of Tom Hanks or Spielberg for that matter. But yeah, and it's a great fucking John Williams score.
Yeah.
Very 1960s feel to it and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a nice. I mean, he really captures like the era in the movie, like where it takes place and the time and everything. So it is a pretty good movie. It's a pretty good movie. That's why I was surprised there hasn't not been a newer like special edition or 4K or something of it.
I thought it got a 20th anniversary nod or something. If I remember right, I think this is one of the last Spielberg movies to really get much Oscar attention too, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong. Yeah, no, I hadn't seen it in a while and I hadn't cracked it open yet. I bought it in a bin at Walmart, I think a couple of years back. And I was so pissed about the cover. And I looked and I looked and I looked for another copy and I couldn't find another copy. So mad.
It sucks. I can't find none of them $5 steelbooks people keep talking about at Walmart either. So like it's insane. But speaking of Spielberg, we just heard today that he's going to make a new movie based on a UFO from his own story.
He's never done anything like that before. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, so that'd be something. I mean, we know he's done Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and he did the Tom Cruise movie. So this will be something interesting to see if he can recapture some of that old Spielberg magic with this UFO type movie that he wants to do.
ET2.
ET2.
Phoning home.
Close Encounters 2.0.
Yeah. Close Encounters of the Fourth Kind, y'all.
Yeah, I forgot Jennifer Garner is in Catch Me If You Can. Yeah, she is. Yeah.
If I was in a store, how much would you pay for me?
I'd buy that for $1.
For Jennifer Gardner.
Go fish.
Scorsese is doing a film on Jesus and Sinatra. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Jesus versus Sinatra.
Fly me to the moon.
War of the Worlds. ET2 War of the Worlds. But no, yeah, that is a movie that I definitely think needs a little more love. I do think it's a bit underrated. And it's funny that like I still think about all those movies that like Leonardo DiCaprio did with like Spielberg and all them, and it took till he fought that damn bear in that movie that wasn't even that good of a movie just to get an Oscar. So
Yeah, that movie's not that great.
yeah, it's really not that.
Who still
good.
talks about it even? Other than
Nobody.
they bring it up just cause.
Nobody. Yeah.
Because it looks like the bear's fucking him, right?
Right.
You talking about The Revenant?
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that movie's like well made, but yeah, maybe a little bit overrated in its hype.
It is. Brian Barth, I think he just, I don't know, it just came out today. He just has an idea for a UFO film and he wants to make it. So maybe it'll be good. I mean, we had hopes for The Fablemans, but Michelle Williams pretty much fucked that movie.
I mean, honestly, that movie says more about Spielberg than I wanted to.
Yeah, I was watching that movie myself thinking we talked about it, but I was thinking the very same thing as like, Oedipus or whatever it's called.
Oedipus complex.
Oedipus, yes. Freud would have a field day with, especially when it's supposed to be based on his real life. So I'm like, oh, and knowing when you look it up, it is actually pretty faithful to who his mother was and everything. So, yeah, sad day for Spielberg. But okay, I guess we'll move on.
Even though we're late, we're only an hour through and we're like almost done.
I know it's just yeah. It's just, I mean, I don't know. It's just kind of.
Well, we haven't had any tangents. I think we have had like zero tangents. It's just like
I did think we watched some movies that we just was kind of interested in this week, and nothing heavy-handed about them. So, so I guess we'll move on to me if you don't have anything else to say, Tom.
It's a good. You have do it because I don't want to spoil it for anybody because it is a fun ride. It's a well put together film, a nice tight story. I mean, the basics outline is this, like I said, this guy Frank Abagnale, from the time he was like 16, I think 15 or 16, ran away from home and like I said, became a pilot and all these other things, laundered millions of dollars, which was the equivalent of like probably $20 or so million today. Found ways of getting it. It's really interesting what he does. And like I said, I don't want to spoil too much of it. And then on the other side of it, you got Tom Hanks who's chasing him. And it's just, it's just interesting to see the progression of both characters and how they interact with each other throughout the film. And it's a different kind of movie and it's enjoyable. It's funny. It has some bittersweet moments in it. It has some touching moments in it. It has some very sad moments in it. It's the kind of movie Spielberg and Hollywood used to make. So yeah, it's too bad we don't get too many like this anymore. Yeah,
it's like one of those old school Hollywood type movies that just seems to have left now.
Kind of similar to my next pick, which is funny because it also has Leonardo DiCaprio in it.
Oh, interesting. Nice. Well, for my next pick, I'm kind of going to brag a little bit more again about this, about something from Full Moon here. But I have the new movie Bring Her to Me, directed by Brooks Davis, who I am friends with, and I do get a shout out in a director's commentary. So he does shout me out in the director's commentary.
Last week you're making it on the back of a disc. Now you're making it on a disc.
You're just slowly becoming to the big times with everything. You're just going to one up every week.
I had to. I just like it was kind of a back-to-back thing for Full Moon. It's I never expected at all, honestly. But yeah, I know this is Brooks Davis. He did the Gingerweed Man and this for Full Moon, and I've gotten to know him quite well, and he's a pretty good guy. And I've had him on the channel a couple times. And so yeah, he does give me a shout out in the director's commentary. But this is a pretty fun movie. I like this movie. It's only 55 minutes long. As most new Full Moon movies are. I think I broke up there a little bit. Did I break up?
I like the title already. Bring Her to Me.
Yeah, Bring Her to Me.
That's a pretty good catchy title there. It's like, all right, what are they going to do?
Which is funny because you want to know how this movie came about? Because he told me, and he also explains a little bit in the commentary, is Charles Band, who is the founder of Full Moon, he walked in and he told Brooks, he said, okay, you're up to do a movie. He gave him a poster with a woman on a bed and with the title called Bring Her to Me. And he said, I want you to make this into just a picture. He said, I want you to make this into a movie. And he only gives him two conditions. first condition is you have to have the woman on the bed flying in the air, and the second condition is you got to show her tits. So, because that's what they do.
True filmmaker right there who can make that happen.
Well, it's their low budget independent B
Yeah.
movies, and this is an exploitation erotic type film. So Brooks and his writer got to work on the script, just looking at that, and figured it out what they want to do. It's about dreams. It's about this woman who is having these weird dreams, like this demon dream is coming after her, and she gets her friend that she has at this coffee shop. This guy tells her, oh, he knows this woman that does dreams and that can help her with it. And she comes over to help her, and she flies to her bed on a dream in the air and to this demon's lair. And that's about all I want to give you, because it does to go any further would spoil it if you do want to watch the movie, because there's some twists and stuff in the movie, but it's a pretty fun movie. It's like Brooks has said, and then when you see it, it's a cross between like a Full Moon type movie and Tales from the Crypts, Tales from the Dark Side meets Red Shoe Diaries, if you know what Red Shoe Diaries is. So, which was an old cable show on, I believe, Showtime. I believe it was. Yeah, which was basically sex story, like an erotic show. But basically, yeah, that's the story. And there's like this demon after her trying to get her and all this. And it's a fun movie. It's a pretty solid movie. I love the fact that Brooks tries to make this feel very old school and classic too, because he likes old school, like 70s and 80s movies. He couldn't shoot on film, but he even went back and added in light film grain for the movie, because he wanted it, to look old school and everything. And his inspirations are, like I said, Tales from the Crypt, Tales from the Dark Side, the Dracula movies with Christopher Lee and Frank Langella, I believe he said, was one of his influences. And so he really wanted to make it feel like a one of those type of movies, and he succeeds for the most part for what little budget he had. And what it was only filmed in 5 days. He had 5 days to film it, and he had to come up with all kinds of stuff, because, like I said, with Full Moon, it's very low budget. I actually did do a review on this one. It is up on my channel. I did it when it first came out. So if you want to see the review I did for it, you can go over there and check it out. And also go check out my interview with Brooks. Deleted scenes, if you want to drop any of that in the chat, if you're still out there. I'm going to drop the review and my interview with Brooks in the chat for anybody who's missed it. Not technically softcore. It's erotic exploitation. There's basically, the movie starts with the main character. She walks on screen and it's just a bare butt, and then he makes you work till the end to see the breast. So like it starts with some a butt and it ends with a little bit of breast. So it takes a while to get to it. So he said he didn't want to just go right into it, but they are an exploitation B movie, so he wanted to get to it. So, he had orders from Charles Band, so that's what he wanted to do. So. Red Shoe Diaries was. Yes, Red Shoe Diaries was. I thought you meant the movie I had. No, the Red Shoe Diaries was. So, but yeah, there's my second pick. It just came out on Blu-ray. I just bought it. It looks pretty good. He's got some good special features on here. It's got the behind the scenes, the director's commentary, the original trailer, the isolated music score, and some Full Moon trailers, which is honestly a little more than you get on most Full Moon movies. Full Moon, I love them, but sometimes they don't give you the best special features in the world on their Blu-rays. Sometimes it's just like an old video zone from an old movie that they made years ago. But yeah, there's my second pick of the night with my little flexing I have. I'm on the commentary. Well, I'm not, but I'm shouted out. Yeah. He's a good guy. Brooks is a good guy, which I do like that he said, like when he made the Gingerweed Man for Full Moon, Film Threat gave him a bad review, said it was a bad movie and everything. And he said he's a huge fan of Film Threat, and he's been reading it, which was Chris Gore and all that. I don't know who reviewed it for him over there, but he said he really wanted to get a good review from Film Threat this time, and they gave him a good review, and it's actually on the back of the Blu-ray here. So it says from a good erotic horror movie, and a Film Threat says, and sexy, thrilling, and creepy. So he got a good review from the same reviewer, and he was very happy with that. He said that
So
he
used a failed review to motivate him to get this one done right.
Yes, I mean, I like Gingerweed Man. It's fun. It's a funny movie. I don't think people got it. It's just a fun, silly, stupid movie. But yes, I get what he's coming from, and he came at it, and he succeeded. So he succeeded. He grew as an artist. So yes. But there you go. There's my conversation with him if you haven't seen it, and I do have a review of his movie up on my channel if you guys want to check that out. But yeah, any thoughts? Any?
Again, I love the title alone. Just bring her to me. I can't read that in like a bring her to me or just bring her. No, bring her to me.
Yeah, that's the demon. That's exactly pretty much how the demon guy says it.
That's how I imagine the title needs to be read.
Yeah, I mean, that's like old school Hollywood. Is like the producer or somebody would come in and be like, "Here's an image. I want you to make this into a movie." So that's like sort of like what they used to do back in some of the old school Hollywood days of like B movies and stuff like that. They were like,
cool.
"Here, make this into a movie." So that's how that worked.
They'd finance it that way, yeah.
Yeah. Or they'd find an image and they'd be like, "You know what? Let's make this into a movie." But yeah, there you go.
Back when they were real filmmakers, right?
Yeah. Before the dark days.
That's cool.
Yeah. And yes, there you guys go. There's my review if you guys want to see my review. But to you, Rook, let's go to you. What do you got for us?
All right. Well, I decided I was in a Power Ranger mood. So I watched the OG Mighty Morphin Power Ranger one, and then I watched the 2017 one, which I will say is complicated. It's not straight out bad, but it's also definitely not good. Power Rangers has had a very bizarre history when it comes to rights. They've had Saban own them, they've had Nickelodeon own them, they've had Disney own them, they've had rights passed around like fucking crazy. I think Hasbro as well, whatever, just all the time. And this one was made. I think they had the intention of making like launching a whole new series of movies or something based off of this, which is interesting because this is meant to be an adaptation specifically of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. This isn't like if they were trying to make like a Power Ranger movie with their own original characters or things, that'd be one thing. But they're trying to adapt Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. This is not a good adaptation of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. No, sir. They're just real quick though. I just realized now there's a shit ton of special features on this, which I have not seen yet. I will check those out. That might help some of the background info that I have that I want to find out on this. But they do pretty much the opposite of a lot of things that characters would do entirely with it. When you're trying to make an adaptation, I know you got to make changes, but I mean they make all the kids pretty much outcasts and delinquents. And the original Power Rangers were just some good old-fashioned teenagers that they're all pretty athletic and mostly kind-hearted and whatnot. And that's why they were chosen. It's literally Zordon wakes up after Rita wakes up in the original, and he's like, Alpha, bring me 5 over-emotional, overbearing humans. Not teenagers. It's a little ridiculous. Again, I would criticize that being kind of stupid too. And from the regular Mighty Morphin, this one, they start out 65 million years ago. That's where you start. And Rita's like Zordon's crawling on the ground. Spoilers, whatever. None of you are watching anyway. If you have, whatever, Yeah. Rita is like she's like, she's a Green Ranger above him, and he's like, Rita, you suck. And she's like, die, Zordon. And he's like, no, I'm gonna live or something. And then an asteroid hits the Earth and wipes them out, I guess. Like legit, they got bailed out by an asteroid, I guess, and then go into the future, 65 million years into the future, and then we got the present day going on. They have the main guy Jason, he's the Red Ranger, and then they have some other kid in there. They're bringing a bull into a school's locker room, and they make they're like, and they even milked it. They're like doing a prank on the other school, and they're like, I milked the cow or something. He's like, well, what do you mean milked it? He's like, what, did it have one udder? Well, yeah, I even had to use two hands and pump it. And it's like, they're making like they jacked off the bull joke. And I'm like, Power Rangers. What are you fucking doing? And
it's hip and it's edgy. 20s, man.
This is like they must have seen a lot of Snyder movies, and then like I don't know what made them think the sexual stuff, like Michael Bay of Snyder or something, and just have these awful jokes in here that are just like, I mean, I get trying to be edgy is really lame. It is just really lame when you're trying to be edgy and to have these jokes and stuff. They do this often in the movie where they have like sexual innuendo kind of jokes with the Power Rangers when these are like teenagers in high school, which that's where a lot of the jokes would be, but still, I don't know. It's just kind of weird. It's weird too because but it's like they're trying to again, this is why it's a bad adaptation, because the original characters weren't like that at all, like in any way. If these are just like superhero characters that they're trying to have, whatever, that's more fine, But again, adaptation not so good. If we're just looking at it like they're superheroes, I think it gets a little bit more leniency with that, with the way that this happens. Man, this is another one where I could talk about it fucking ever, honestly. How do I sum things up here? Okay, I'll try to break it down to smaller things here. Like I talked about with the first one already. Costumes. The cover makes the costumes look pretty bright, but I feel like they're Snyderfied in the movie. They look much darker. Their tones are like really dark in the movie, and they look a little more shitty like that. Their Zords have good special effects. They look okay, like Transformer type of thing, but that's also what makes them look shitty, because they're so detailed that they look like dog shit. Like, and then when they form the Megazord, it looks like an uncreative, just mecha thing. Compared to the original one, it had the combinations of the dinosaur parts that made it look unique and how it was. This just was like looked uncreative. The putties in this, if you guys know the putties from the original show, yes, they were goofy as hell looking guys, which I would recommend they do a different altered design for the movie. But the design in this is just globby rock things that don't look like you can't even look at them for a second, because they're just like gloop monsters essentially. Just visual stuff that they just look lazy when you're looking at stuff. They have Goldar in this, where she is trying to resurrect him, and she is going around town eating gold to resurrect him, and he comes all big, and then he's just a gloop monster too, just a glump, like non-detailed, lazy-looking glump. Things are either too detailed in this or too simplified, just blobs of things, which that's visually that's awful on the eyes. The soundtrack in this is like, it's okay, and it's kind of annoying because they play the cinematic version of the Mighty Morphin theme song in it for like 10 seconds, and that's like the only time you get any of like that in there. The rest, they play other songs that have the word power in it, like I've Got the Power and Power from like Kanye West or something that they play, which is like whatever. Krispy Kreme is a product placement featured in this heavily that I actually give this movie props for. I think it's annoying when you have like obvious product placements that don't serve a purpose to the story at all. This has it be where like the Zeo crystals, which it's a whole nother thing here with the Power Ranger stuff. But anyway, they need that's located under a Krispy Kreme, like the way underneath a Krispy Kreme. And so it's product placement, but this is where the villain is trying to get to, and the heroes need to protect the Krispy Kreme from her. And she like ends up going in it at one point and eats it, and it's all quiet, and then destruction around it. Looks like a commercial with destruction going on. It's product placement, but I like it in this. This is like my favorite use of product placement, where it's in the plot in a way that makes enough sense. Sure, why not? The character development in this is done pretty well, surprisingly. It's just, again, they're not like the characters that they're adapting, but do okay making them like seem like a team. There's a lot of things that they do together where they have to work together. Even operating the Zords, each limb is like they have to sync together to make it work, which in the original one they all just kind of go into a control room and it just all works essentially. So I kind of like that they have it where they have to work as a team in this, except for how they have to morph is they have to like believe in each other or something. They have to like hold hands and be like, we are friends and believe in each other and some crap. And it's like, that's so stupid for a thing. Honestly, Bryan Cranston is in this as Zordon. He does good at being a Zordon, but as far as the character Zordon, butchered as fuck kind of a thing if you're adapting the stuff. Though he does do one thing in it that is, yeah, okay, shoot. He has a chance to like be brought out of his time trapment thing that he's in, but chooses to save one of the Rangers that was dead. And it's like, okay, like that's like a good thing to do, but also kind of dumb because your character was trying to use them to bring yourself back to life, which not what that character would typically do, but you know, whatever. Man, I could go on this forever, honestly. So I'll wrap it up with saying some of this is acted well. There's some scenes in this that are done well. Overall, though, the movie, I don't like the movie. There's a lot of things in it that are just even more cringe than like original Power Ranger stuff. Some of them, they try to be edgy as fuck in this, and that is lame. Visual effects look good in some small shots when they hold still for a sec, but it gets like Transformers 5 moving around the screen gross at times. I hate that. I hate sloppy looking designs of goop monsters. I call them goop sludgy. You know what I'm talking about when you see visual effects like that. It's so uncreative. It's like you can create the original Power Rangers. All of Power Rangers pretty much creates very unique creatures all the time, and like they've had dozens of different minions that, you know, are the ones they got to deal with, and they're usually goofy goofballs, but they're all different, you know. And this was just rock things that are like, come on. They at the end they blast Rita off into space. Practically, we're blasting off again. I don't know. They had Jason David Frank and Amy Jo Johnson cameo in this for like 3 seconds as bystanders in the crowd. Retarded use of them. Sorry for the word. I don't know if that damages channel or not, but they like if you're gonna have them on set, don't have that be what it is. Are you kidding me? Have them be like a teacher at their school or a parent. They don't have to be Power Rangers in the thing, but like if they're gonna be present, I don't know. At least have them do something that is worth them being there. Like, not just because of what use you could get on screen. It's just if I were them, I don't know. I'd be like, well, yeah, we're going to be in the newest one, and you just want us to hold our phones out to watch them. What? Why? Like, that just kind of bugs me.
What they do with them, but we do have a members chat. Thank you, Tim Hayes, for being a member for 20 months. I appreciate all your support. He says, "I love Krispy Kreme donuts."
Good. So. Yeah. The movie, I think Krispy Kreme got a huge sales after the movie came out with that. So that was marketing done well. They made them look good. Saying Krispy Kreme does roll off the tongue nicely as well. So yeah, I don't know. That's a good product placement. But yeah, I guess that's where I'll wrap it up.
Officially never have to watch the Powder Planeteers. I can tell you that right now. Okay. I know the whole movie. You just told me the whole thing.
Pretty much, yeah. Well, and honestly, it's a kind of one.
I don't know what half of it meant, but
I don't recommend it anyway. It's a type of movie where I can't say it's a bad movie entirely, but it's definitely not a good movie. It's not a half-away movie. It's complicated for me to judge. I'd have to go scene by scene and bit by bit to really come out to where I would stand on the movie, and that would just take way too damn long on here. So I'm just on it's complicated. If you like Power Ranger stuff, you might like to hate this, or you might like it. The place to be reviews, ETEP, he thought it was a pretty good movie. So I don't know. And I think he's got a kid and he liked Power Rangers when he was younger too. So I mean, there's different arguments there. I don't know what else stuff are online with it. I didn't look at that kind of stuff in 2017 all the time. I was just on the YouTube scene like around that time, starting to, so I wasn't fully aware yet on YouTube things. But But I do plan to look into some of this stuff sometimes. As you can tell, I'm rattling on about this, and I barely talked about the movie. Honestly, like
Really?
I barely talked about the movie
about
at all. The Yellow Ranger is hints that she's a lesbian. The original Black Power Ranger was black. He was Zach, and he was the black guy, and the Yellow Ranger was Trini, who was Asian, and she was a Yellow Ranger. But apparently they were like, oh, this is racist crap. We have to change this. And so when they got into season 2 of Mighty Morphin, they had those Rangers get yoinked out so that the Yellow Ranger would be a black girl and an Asian dude would be the Black Ranger or whatever, like, because they thought it would be racial, and nobody gave a shit back in the day at all. They were like, oh, whatever. But
yeah, back then,
yeah.
Nice little rant there.
He literally started telling us about this movie when it first came out.
Yeah, it's like, again, I barely told you the plot. I didn't tell you about when they got the coins, when they got bullied, and it was stupid shit. all these in between. There's so much I can go into. Yeah, I'll end it there because I could go forever on this stuff, man. Get a bore Tom to sleep.
Look, I get you're passionate about it, but for me, I'm just like, all I hear is.
That's fine. That's how I feel when people talk about Transformers and other stuff.
I understand.
That's okay. Yeah, that's our generational differences. That is natural.
Look, I remember seeing the first Power Ranger movie, and I remember after seeing it going, well, that's probably the best Power Ranger movie we're ever going to get.
I think you were right, though. Yes.
But I didn't hate it. I didn't like it. It was just kind of like, it was 90 minutes.
It was a solid 90 minutes. So, there you go. I'm sure you loved Ivan Ooze.
Under duress, and I'm just like, no, I don't want to sit through this shit. And after I was done watching, I'm like, yeah, it was all right. It wasn't good. It wasn't bad. I mean, I guess if you have nothing else to do for 90 minutes and you're on a plane or something, I mean, maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
But I also acknowledge I am not a Power Rangers fan. They are just past my time. So to me, they were just kind of like that first annoying step towards what we have now with all this weeby stuff. So yeah.
To me, if I were to like compile all of the least cringy scenes in Power Rangers, I think you'd go, that's actually all right. But that would be all without context. So who knows?
Sounds more like, I mean, if you had to sum it up in a lot less words than you did, it just sounds like a wasted opportunity, and it wasn't very good.
Yeah, especially for the movie. Yes, a lot of people were really behind this, like to really give it. I think this made a lot of money too, and a lot of people hated it. But it's one of those ones that
I don't think so because they never made the sequel.
Well, I think I remember it did. I think it did pretty well for its budget. I think, but I don't remember. Again, I didn't look at all the things, but I'm sure I know it was highly talked about. And these were people again that didn't even give a shit about Power Rangers, really. So I mean, I don't know. It didn't get a sequel, that's for sure. But again, the Netflix made a movie as well. He wants me to stop talking. Yeah. Okay.
The fucker cost 100 to 105 million to make, and it only made 142 million worldwide. So that would be considered a flop. Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was more like I thought that its budget.
And Lionsgate will make a sequel to anything.
Yeah,
so that's true. Oh yeah, it was released by Lionsgate.
Jump on another sequel. So like, I mean, yeah.
Okay, Lionsgate owned this when this was made because it says Saban's Power Rangers, but then it has Lionsgate on here. They change hands all the time, so it's like who's it land on now? And it's on somebody different. I think Netflix has it right now.
Shout, I think, has all the rights to all the old stuff, but I don't know who actually owns it.
Yeah, I think Netflix actually has
Netflix has it right now. Yeah, they made a movie on that, which I won't talk about because that'll drive Tom crazy. Maybe I'll do that next week.
That's not physical, right?
Is it good at least for you guys? I hope.
I haven't watched it. I haven't seen it.
Newest one is it's that one's also complicated for different reasons.
Like I said, I was at the age where I watched Ninja Turtles and went into the first Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, saw the movie, liked the movie. That was about it. that was my extent. I had some of the toys. My brother can confirm out there in chat. We was into it for a little bit, and then we kind of just that was that. So I don't know anything past that. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get to you, Tom. What's your next pick of the night?
My final pick tonight is,
Yeah.
as we were talking about earlier, Leonardo DiCaprio. It's The Revenant. No, I'm just kidding. Why would I say that?
The Bear.
I'm heading down to Boston. This is the
that's
original Departed Blu-ray that came out back in 2007. But now here we are with a brand new, pristine 4K scan of arguably one of Scorsese's best films. I don't care what you say. This movie is amazing. I watched it earlier today. Looks pretty good. It might have had some neat done to it, but I didn't notice any major manipulation. But some scenes have some really nice natural grains. Some scenes seem a little light. But I mean, considering it's only a 20-some-year-old movie, I think, or whatever, 22 years or whatever. I don't remember when did it come out. Maybe not that old. 2006, I think it was. This might be the anniversary. Is it the anniversary? I don't know. Okay. Anyway, it's got one new special feature on it, and all the old special features carried over. But the new special feature is a 15-minute interview with Martin Scorsese, and this is where people have been getting the news that ran around that Alan Horn of Warner Brothers wanted Martin Scorsese to let one of the kids live, whether it was Matt Damon or Leonardo DiCaprio, just in case they wanted to make a sequel. And he's like, fuck this, I'm out. And he didn't hear from him for a while, and then he did. And somebody finally said, yeah, why we gotta get a deal made. And basically he just talks about how this is basically his last real studio picture and all that kind of stuff. And it's a pretty interesting 15-minute conversation with just him talking about the movie in general in retrospect. So it's kind of nice to have that. But the movie itself, I don't know if you guys have seen it or not.
Yes, I've seen it. I like it.
Because I don't want to get too deep into it if you haven't, but you haven't seen it, Brooke?
I'm not. Nope.
Oh, you should see this movie. It's a good movie.
Oh, yeah, it's great. I
actually
call it X-Men Departed because the X-Men that's like, oh, X-Men Departed. I don't remember that one.
It doesn't show up as much if you're looking at it directly on, but it really shows up on the camera there for some reason.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I wish I could. No matter what angle I put it here, compared to what it looks like in real life, it just hardly shows up in real life. But like, yeah, it just sticks out like a sore.
Light. But no, I agree with you. This is a great movie.
Reflective. But yeah, so the basic story is Jack Nicholson plays a character who's loosely based on Whitey Bulger. And it's actually a loose remake of a Chinese film or Korean film. I think it's Korean.
Yeah. Was it? I thought it was Japanese.
Did I say it might have been Japanese. Maybe. I don't remember. Some foreign film. Infernal Affairs, that's all I remember. Or Infernal Affairs, yeah. And anyway, so Jack Nicholson is like this Irish mafia boss, and he basically helps raise Matt Damon from the time he's just like a young teenager to an adult and put him through school and get him into the police academy, and he goes to be the state police force and all that kind of stuff, working his way up the ranks. So basically he's a mole inside the FBI or whatever, or inside the
police, the Boston police.
Well, it's the state police, and it's also got the FBI involved. I don't want to get too much into the actual plot, way too much. But then, because on the other end you have Leonardo DiCaprio's character. So I guess, and from what Martin was saying, he brought a lot to this character. Like, I guess a lot of this was his, like, stuff he wanted to do with the character, and it's his kind of take on things, and so I think they worked together a lot on it. But it is one of his best performances.
Yeah, this is one he should have got an Oscar for.
Absolutely, because he plays a kid who went through the academy and all that stuff, and wants nothing more than to be a state policeman. And because of his family, he is basically marked, and they tell him, you're never going to be a cop. But if you really want to be a real cop, we can tell you how, and it's by putting him undercover in with Whitey Bulger, or not Whitey Bulger, but the Frank
Yeah,
Costello
yeah.
character. And basically feeding information through Martin Sheen and Marky Mark's character as to what's going on and stuff. And yeah, that's kind of the setup. So basically you have a mole and a mole on either side, and it's kind of like a spy thriller mixed in with a gangster movie. It's set in Boston and with just tons of great actors. Even Alec Baldwin's in it, even though I wouldn't call him a great actor, but probably one of Marky Mark's best performances too in there.
He just came out and said he hated his hair in that movie or something like that.
It is kind of, now that you mention it, yeah, it is kind of a quaff. So, and yeah, I know he's got one of the best lines in the movie. So
The scene with Martin Sheen, though, like that one scene, that is the whole movie is like that, man. Like seeing
you got a guy on the inside, maybe not. Maybe fuck yourself. Why are you trying to play cop?
Yeah, the accents, they all have the perfect the Boston accents is perfect. I think Jack Nicholson is great in the movie. I think it's is this his last performance in the movie?
Did he do more
after this? Did he?
I'm trying to remember. I don't know if he did or not, but it's one of his last, before he retired. But and it's a great performance too.
Oh yeah, he gives an amazing performance.
I know.
I don't want to. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off.
No. I was saying he's got a ton, but it's still one of his. Yeah.
It's one of his good ones. It's just like I try not to say anything because there's so much that happens that builds like so many twists, and you know that you just want to be like, oh, and then this, oh, you know what I mean? Because like it's pretty solid and it's pretty well delivered, and I think everybody plays it. It's an amazing cast, really. It's got a great cast. I'm Ray Liotta was supposed to be Mark Wahlberg's role, and they also wanted Mel Gibson for the Alec Baldwin role.
I wish they had.
Yeah, it would have been nice for.
In actuality, though, I mean, he kind of plays the perfect role. I mean, he's a pompous fucking prick.
Yeah, he does. I mean, it's an Alec Baldwin role. So, yeah. So okay. He says he did 2 more films, The Bucket List, and okay. But no, yeah, I would just say that that's one of his last big performances before those. But yeah, the movie is great. Like the Boston cast and everything that's in it involved, and just like everybody, it's just like from one scene to the next, you never really know what's coming right away. And when some stuff happens, it's just like it surprises you beyond belief. Sometimes it's very well done. And I've also heard, I mean, I've never seen it, but I've also heard Infernal Affairs is really great. Some people will say it's better than that one, but I can't compare it because I've seen that one, and I think that one is a great movie. I have no complaints about it. It's, and like I said, this should have been the movie that got him the Oscar, not Wrestling a Bear. I mean, everything that goes through in this movie, all the characters go through, and this should have got him the thing.
Yeah. Bronson wants to know some of our favorite Jack performances. Probably R.P. McMurphy in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest has to be up there. Obviously this. Let's see here,
I like the Joker. I do like
Shining, obviously Joker.
Shining,
yeah.
Yes. Shining.
As Good as It Gets, he was really good in as well. Chinatown, of course. A Few Good Men, Pretty much all the staples.
Yeah, those are pretty. Yeah, no, nobody said about Schmidt. Is that the one where what's her name shows herself?
I think so.
Oh yeah, that was
Kathy Bates.
Yeah, Kathy Bates. Yeah. No, I think all the ones you listed are pretty much like the definitive Jack Nicholson movies.
I mean, he's got a ton of other ones, but I mean, those are probably like you just said, the definitive ones.
Wasn't he in the? Was he in Chinatown? He was in Chinatown.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, I mentioned that one.
Yeah. I thought you mentioned that. I was gonna say that's a good one, and that's coming to 4K soon. Yeah, I think you mentioned all the good ones. I can't really think of any other ones outside of those.
Last Detail's pretty good.
Yeah. I don't think I've actually seen The Last Detail personally.
I didn't bring that one on here.
No, I don't think so.
I have the 4K, but I don't know if I've watched the 4K yet. But it's
what's this? What's like the basis of the movie?
It's got him, Randy Quaid, and I can't remember the other guy. but him and this other guy are police, the military police, and they're bringing this guy. I can't remember if they're bringing him to trial or to jail. I think it's to jail because I think he's going to be going away for a while. That's the whole thing. So they're trying to show him a good time because Jack Nicholson is basically playing like an R.P. McMurphy character, basically kind of thing. I mean, it's not exactly the same, but it's like that kind of a thing where he's like, "Come on, let's show the guy a good time. He's gonna be in jail for a while," that kind of thing.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
these men kind of just exploring and finding themselves, and not in a sexual way, but
I
that
get
kind of
you. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Easy Rider is a good one. Nobody mentioned him in the Beatles or the Monkeys. I can't believe I just said Beatles.
Head.
The Monkeys movie Head. So yeah.
Yeah, and of course you got Witches of Eastwick and
Oh yeah,
some
Witches of
other ones.
Eastwick. Yes, forgot about that one. Oh yeah, I kind of agree with you on that because I was never a big fan of Anger Management. I wasn't a huge fan of that movie with Adam Sandler.
Not one of my favorites either. No.
Yeah, I didn't really like that.
I'm not a fan of those kind of movies usually, like Monster in Law, Anger Management, where the only ones in movies that I like kind of like that are Grumpy Old Men, because those at least seem like they don't seem vicious. You know what I mean? Even those two, the shit that they're doing to each other, you can tell it's just annoying. You know what I mean? Like more than actually, like, you watch Monster in Law or Anger Management, it's like these people are trying to kill each other almost, especially Monster in Law.
Yeah.
And then I hate the twist ending with Anger Management too. It's like, oh, it was part of the program the whole time. Like, no.
Yeah, I hated that.
The whole thing. And I don't like that kind of character or kind of movie where you have like this character where that's all they are, is just trying to antagonize each other. Type of characters, that's all it is just them trying to one up and antagonize each other constantly throughout the film. It just seems mean spirited and but see it like unlike Grumpy Old Men, like Hollowfield just pointed out, those are not mean spirited.
Yeah, not mean spirited,
as opposed to the other ones that I mentioned. And I'm sure there's a half a dozen other ones you could come up with in the past that are similar. Like, I don't mind competitive films or films about people that are competitive, but I just hate it when it's just, you get to a point, it's like, these people be in friggin' jail by now.
Yeah.
Right? For like, I mean, the stuff that they're doing to each other, or the neighbor type movies, like even that movie with Neighbors with Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi.
I didn't like that one. Yeah.
Same kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where these people are going out of their way to make people's lives a living hell. I don't like that.
Yeah.
And the people that put up with it too, it's like after a point, it's like, I could only put up with that for like twice.
Yeah.
And then it's like, get the fuck out of my hair now. Like, I'm done with you. You know what I mean? Like,
it's like sort of like, I liked Meet the Parents. I did like Meet the Parents, which is sort of similar to that. But I did like Meet the Fockers, and I did because by then it was kind of just overdone for the second movie. But yeah.
Which was the third one? Which was the third one?
Oh yeah, it was Meet the where they have kids or something. Jessica Alba.
Yeah, but what the hell was that one called?
I can't remember the name of that.
I don't hate the last one. The second one, not as good.
Yeah, I didn't like Meet the Fockers. I did like Meet the Parents. I thought the last one was
all right. What was the last one called?
I'm gonna look it up real quick.
Something Fockers. It's something in it, but Little Fockers. That's what it was.
Oh, the Little Fockers. Yeah.
But that movie's mainly saved by like Dustin Hoffman and shit. But
yeah.
I mean, it wasn't great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna sit here. I'm not gonna die on a hill for it or anything like that. But
yeah.
But you're talking about milking things earlier. I mean, that at least was a funny. See, that was the thing about like. I mean, yes, that's a very similar movie. I think another one that kind of is like that too, that reminds me of, is the one with Ben Stiller now too. Also, is the one where he goes on the trip, and he's recently married. We were talking about this one other time.
Yeah, I hate that freaking
Heartbreak Kid.
Heartbreak Kid, yes.
Kind of similar in that sense, a very mean-spirited film. Where I just don't like watching movies like that, where it's like, are you trying to entertain the audience, or are you just trying to annoy and piss them off? Right? Because and this kind of goes off of what we were saying last week. Sometimes you want to have certain characters like that, but it can't be in a way that, like, look at Major League's great example. She's making it a hard time for those guys, but she could have done a million other things to be worse, right? And she has a goal that makes sense, and it's not like she's doing it to be mean to them. She's doing it because she's trying to reach her goal, right? So there's a difference between that and say, like the whole monster in law type thing where they're literally trying to kill each other.
Yeah, I mean, even she had a likability to her, even though you hated her, but she had a likability to her where you like to hate her. You know what I mean? Like you said, but it's also like that one Ben Stiller movie too with him and Jack Black, which I never really cared for, where the Jack Black invents the poo be gone thing, and Ben Stiller's really jealous of him, and he hates him like they're next door neighbors or whatever. I didn't really.
Oh yeah, Envy. Yeah, that's another
Envy.
one I watched for about 20 minutes and I shut it off as soon as I realized, yeah, that's where this is gonna go.
Yeah,
it's just gonna be
it's one of those movies.
Junk movie.
Yeah. Good night,
If you like that sort of thing, I'm not trying to cut you down or nothing. It's just me personally. Yeah.
I mean, and you like we said,
Election was another one like that everybody loved, and I'm just like, that dude should be in fucking prison.
Exactly.
Like, what the fuck? He's fighting with a high school girl, for God's sakes. Like,
exactly.
And people are saying this is a good movie.
I've never understood the like of that movie. I thought that movie was horrible. Horrible.
And I'm not saying she's innocent in the matter either, but she's also a fucking teenager and he's an adult.
Exactly.
Right? Like, that's the problem with the movie. It would be different. Okay, redo that movie, but it's the smartest guy in school up against the most popular girl. Right? That's a different story where you can do the scenario a little bit better, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they're fighting for dominance over the like the whole thing of what it is, the election thing. But like the whole thing with the teacher, it's like, what the fuck?
That was horrible.
I think I think I knew what they're kind of going for with it, but it just didn't land for me. But I can't believe some of the critics and stuff that gave it so much praise. But Bronson, I saw it years and years and years ago, and it is coming out. Going South is from Vinegar Syndrome pretty soon. So
nice.
It was sold out on Diabolic DVD. I don't know if it is on Vinegar Syndrome.
I know. I was on there. I was looking on there earlier.
And I want to thank Diabolic because they got me another movie today. I'm going to talk about next week. And that is Basket Case pretty quick. So yeah, I was kind of happy.
I know. I'm ordering that. I was just on there. I was going on there today to order that, and also I missed out on Barbed Wire. Damn it! But all the 4Ks are sold out of Barbed Wire, so I'm hoping they get it in stock again, so I can pre-order get that. But I will have Basket Case. I might have Basket Case next week as well too to talk about as well too, Tom. So, but there you go. Yeah, if you guys have not seen The Departed, I know we got sidetracked to other stuff like that, but if you've not seen The Departed, check out The Departed. It's a great thing, and also have a good night, Steven. Deleted scenes. I know you're going, so have a good night. Okay. With that being said, I guess we'll move on to my final pick of the night, and we'll close it down. So my final pick of the night, I may have brought. I think I brought on the box set before, but I don't know if I've ever brought on each movie separately. But I'm only bringing on one movie because I only watched one. And that would be, I didn't even blow up my screen. Critters. Fuck. So I got Critters. I watched the first one after, I saw that it was like, it's the anniversary of Critters this week, and I saw some posts about it. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to watch Critters. So I had to watch Critters. Great movie. This is according to Joe Dante. He said if he had to pick one movie that was considered a ripoff of Gremlins that he liked, it would be Critters. He likes Critters,
which isn't kind of fair because it was written before. Now you're talking about earlier that one with Star Crash earlier.
I was going to bring that
this
up.
Actually was written before Gremlins had come out. It just took that long for it to come to fruition. But yeah.
And
it's so different that it doesn't even feel like it's ripping Gremlins off.
It doesn't at all. It's like, it does feel like, plus you got like, there are these creatures that escape from the space prison, and then you got two bounty hunters sent to Earth to track them, and the bounty hunters, they're like, you sort of follow both of them because like the bounty hunters don't know where they're at.
Bounty hunters.
Yeah, right. I mean, like they don't know where they're at, and they got to change their faces to blend in, and the one bounty hunter can't pick the right face. And then it's got E. Emmett Walsh, who just passed away as the sheriff.
Yeah.
Great
character actor.
Yeah, great character actor. So it's a pretty solid, fun movie. And so, like you said, you got these bounty hunters chasing down these critters on Earth, and they're trying to find them. And then, like, you have the people bumping into them, and like, who are these people? And then, of course, you have, oh my God, I just watched it, and I can't remember. Was it Charlie? Right, Charlie, the town weird guy who's a drunk and everything. It's like telling everybody the aliens are there, and they don't believe him. And then you have the little family that's with Dee Wallace, who is basically just screams the whole movie. Once they show up, she just like screams the whole time, trying to shoot him and everything. Yeah, and so like the little family being terrorized by the critters, and then the boy has to go out, and he ends up meeting with them and all that. So I don't want to spoil too much for anybody out there who's not seen it or anything. But these are fun movies. I really enjoy all the Critters movies. I mean, the fourth one I have problems with because it could have been so much better. I knew they were on a low budget for the last two movies, but I'm not a fan of what they did to Ugg. And especially when you have a cast like Brad Dourif and Angela Bassett. Was it Angela Bassett in the last one? I think her name, Angela Bassett. But when you got a cast like that and you're doing a horror movie with critters and yeah. But I love the first. I love all the movies. And speaking of Leonardo DiCaprio, he's in the third movie. That was his first movie. But yeah,
it was, even though he's on television for a while. Yeah, it was Critters 3 was his first film.
Yeah, his first film, and Growing Pains, I think it was on TV and all that. Yeah. But if you've not seen Critters, I do highly recommend it. I still think, speaking of Fuck Shout Factory, I still think the box set is still pretty cheap because it didn't quite sell like they thought it would, sadly. But it's worth it. It's well worth it. Yes, Power of the Night kicked ass. I love that song. I was just actually listening to that for the past couple of days. I've listened to the Power of the Night. I was going to buy a T-shirt too that said Johnny Still Tour 1985. I was going to buy that T-shirt and get that because I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, see that's the thing. Like the one bounty hunter, like the bounty hunters have like these like they're almost like clay faces. And they have to take on the appearance of a human. And like, so they're watching this guy, this rocker, Johnny Still, who's singing the song Power of the Night. And the one guy takes his face. So when people see him with this like big space gun and stuff, and they're like, the rocker, so he took it on, but his partner can't pick a face. It's Johnny Steele. But his partner can't pick a face. So he goes like, they're like almost every dude in the movie he turns into in the movie. Which it surprisingly has some Star Trek people in it, from the not from like Generations, but from like the other Star Trek movies, are in the movie in the movie. But yeah, there you guys go. If you've not watched Critters, highly recommend Critters. It's a great fun movie. And like Tom said, I did find that funny because when I heard Joe Dante said, out of all the movies that are ripoffs of Gremlins, he likes Critters the most. And I remember thinking and hearing you and special features like all this was actually written before Gremlins. It just took a minute to get it made well before. So yeah, there you guys have it. That is mine.
I'll check out all four later this year. I have all four.
Yeah. Critters is well worth it. It wouldn't surprise me I still can't believe you don't like Gremlins, but it wouldn't surprise me if you don't. If you probably like Critters better than Gremlins.
We shall see.
It's got space elements and starts off in space and prison escape with these and like all this comes together.
You'll end up liking it better than Gremlins, unfortunately. But yeah.
Now see, Cowabunga dude, that's part 2 when he does that, and that's the second movie, and that's one of the movies that's I believe it's PG. Is it PG-13 or PG? I can't remember, but that is one where you get some boobs in it because he turns into his partner morphs into the centerfold from Playboy, complete with the staple on her belly button. So they have to pull a giant staple out once he turns into it. So that's fun. That's some fun. Yeah. But you guys have it. That's my final pick of the night. I had to watch Critters again this week because I believe it was its anniversary, and I seen so many posts about Critters, and I even made a short about it myself. So I had to watch at least one. I was going to try to watch some more than one, but I didn't have time, so I watched the first one. But there it is. There it is, my friends. Good night, Brian Barr. Thank you for hanging with us as well. Yeah, the stable. That's a great scene. That truly is a great scene because he's like, no, and he holds up the Playboy model, it's unfolded, turns right into it. So that is a great scene in the second one.
So yeah. All right. Any final words, guys, before we close it out for the night? We did manage to go almost 2 hours, surprisingly, for what little we did talk.
And even though we were late, it's like
We did.
getting out way earlier.
Because we went through the entire plot of Power Rangers the movie.
Well, it's funny because we could have been shorter if I cut that down. Even we had like 0 tangents tonight, really.
Yeah, I mean, we all sort of kind of watched what we like, other than the one you watched. But yeah, thanks. I appreciate you, Tom. I appreciate you, Rogue, for hanging with us. I appreciate you guys all out there in the chat and out there at home watching. Thank you guys for hanging with us tonight. Remember to hit that like and subscribe and leave a comment and check out these guys. And I'll be back. I should be back this Saturday at 9:30 with Nightcrawlers Live. And so enjoy. But as always, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
How you doing? Bitches leave.